3, 2, 1. Liftoff of the Falcon 9.
Vehicles pitching downrange.
Stage 1 prop is nominal. Stage 1 entry startup. Stage 1 is transonic. Stage 1 landing range startup. Stage 1 landing leg deploying.
Falcon 9 has landed. Hello y'all, this is Nexus Spacey. Welcome to my channel. And today we're doing Starlink 6-53 in the beginning of the Swarm launch with Electron Curie with Rocket Lab today. We're having 2 launches today, one with Falcon and one with Electron Curie. Um, the reason I've started so early is because, well, I obviously have to explain Electron and Falcon 9 today. Because there are double launches today. It's not your normal one launch today. So this is going to be very special. And they're going to be launching 2 minutes apart, so it's going to be pretty hard to do. 2 minutes apart from each other will capture Electron's liftoff, and then Falcon's liftoff 2 minutes after that. But I will have them split screens when Electron launches. We'll obviously watch the whole hour thing. We'll be watching, we'll be talking, we'll have a good time. And maybe somebody else will join us so we can have more commentary. So we're going to have a lot of fun today. Only if Falcon's Electron go today. Anyways, we're coming up on 1 hour in 3, 2, 1, 0. We're past the minute mark. We're past the 1 hour mark. Alright. I need to get the 2 mission names up. Alright. Alright. There we go. Now you can see them a little bit better. So, beginning the Swarm is first and Falcon is second. But I'm streaming Falcon because, well, there's no views of Electron right now. But I'm going to get to talking about this launch that we're having today with Falcon. So, at normal 38 minutes before launch, SpaceX launch director verifies the go for propellant load. At 35 minutes, our P1 load begins on the first stage and second stages. And also at 35 minutes, first stage LOX loading begins. 16 minutes before launch, the second stage LOX loading begins. At 7 minutes before launch, the engine chill down sequence happens. At 1 minute, 2 events will happen. The flight computer will do final pre-launch checkouts before launch, and the vehicle will pressurize before launch. And at 45 seconds, SpaceX launch director verifies go for propellant load. 3 seconds before the launch engine ignition sequence happens. At 0 seconds before liftoff happens. At 1 minute 12 seconds after launch, max Q happens. At 2 minutes 26 seconds after liftoff, we have first stage engine cutoff. And 2 minutes 30 seconds, the first and second stages separate. At 2 minutes and 37 seconds, the second stage engine starts. At 2 minutes 59 seconds, the fairing deploys. At 6 minutes and 17 seconds after launch, the entry burn begins on the first stage. And at 6 minutes and 40 seconds, the entry burn ends. So about 23-second burn on the first stage. And at 8 minutes and 9 seconds, the first stage land burn begins. At 8 minutes and 31 seconds after launch, the first stage lands. At 8 minutes and 43 seconds, the second stage engine cuts off. At 53 minutes and 48 seconds after launch, the second stage engine starts again. At 53 minutes and 50 seconds after launch, the second stage engine cuts off after a 2-second burn. At 1 hour and 4 minutes and 57 seconds, the Starlink satellites deploy, which after shortly that mission, the second stage will deorbit itself and it will burn up, and that will be the end of that mission for Falcon 9. I'm going to read what they say about this. And also, what we're going for is launch, ascent, stage separation, flip maneuver, grid fins deploy, entry burn, aerodynamic guidance, vertical landing, autonomous drone ship landing on the first stage. Next thing we're looking for on the second stage is launch, ascent, stage separation, fairing separation, SECO 1, and SES 2, SECO 2, payload separation, and second stage deorbit burn. That's what you're going to be looking for in the second stage. And also, these fairings will be recovered by Bob. Anyways, I'm going to read this from SpaceX's thing. SpaceX is targeting Tuesday, April 23rd for the Falcon 9 launch of 23 Starlink satellites to low Earth orbit from Space Launch Complex 40 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Space Station in Florida. Liftoff is targeted at 6:17 p.m. ET with backup opportunities available until 9:25 p.m. if needed. Additional opportunities are also available on Wednesday, April 24th starting at 5:50 p.m. A live webcast of this mission will begin on X about 5 minutes prior to liftoff. Watch live. This is the 9th flight of the first stage booster supporting this mission, which previously supported and launched Cruise 6, SES-03B, Empower, USF-124, and 5 Starlink missions. Following stage separation, the first stage will land on Just Read the Instructions drone ship, which will be stationed in the Atlantic Ocean. And landing is targeted at about 6:25 p.m. to 6:26 p.m. Alright. Moving on to Electron Curie. This mission name is Beginning of the Swarm. The launch time for this is April 23rd, 2024 at 5:50 p.m. CDT. I'm gonna go down. The payloads that are gonna be launching is ACS-3, NeonSat 1. They will be launching from LC-1B, Manhal, Pennsylvania, New Zealand. This will be the 77th orbital launch attempt of 2024, the 47th mission of Rocket Lab, the 5th mission of 2024 for Rocket Lab, and this will be the 47th mission of Electron, and the 5th mission of 2024 for it. So nice things to hear. So, let's actually look at the Cruise 6 launch that supported this booster, which I watched live.
Pointer from the vehicle assembly building to show off the launch pad just beyond it. Oh, this is a great shot.
The big reveal. Look at that.
It certainly is.
That's cool.
There it is, the Launch Complex 39.
Also wait for a call of the arming of the flight termination system. The Dragon flight computers are configured for launch. Flight termination system will allow Falcon 9 to talk to Dragon on the ride uphill. Terminate the flight, issuing an abort.
Startup. Dragon is in countdown.
T-minus 1 minute and counting. Dragon is in countdown. Everything's looking good for launch.
Dragon, SpaceX, go for launch.
SpaceX Dragon, copy. Go for launch.
T-minus 30 seconds.
T-minus 30 seconds and counting. All teams pulled go.
Seconds.
Ready for an on-time launch for the
T-minus
instantaneous
10,
run.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Engines full power, and liftoff of Crew 6. Go Dragon, go Falcon.
Crew 6, now launching on Endeavour's fourth flight to the International Space Station. Vehicles pitching downrange, 1.7 million pounds of thrust provided by the 9 Merlin 1D engines on the first stage. Hearing good calls, stage 1 propulsion is nominal.
We're now at T plus 34 seconds into the 6th rotational crew mission on board Dragon and Falcon 9.
Power and telemetry nominal.
Stage 1 throttle down.
So there we heard the call out indicating that the first stage engines will begin to throttle down in preparation for max Q, which is the moment of maximum aerodynamic pressure that the vehicle will experience during flight.
Vehicle is supersonic.
That call out there indicating the vehicle's traveling faster than the speed of sound.
Max Q.
Stage 1 throttle up.
All right, now that we're past max Q,
1 Bravo.
Copy, 1 Bravo.
That 1 Bravo indicator are different abort modes that are called that allow the ground teams and the crew to track about the position of the Falcon 9 and the Dragon as they make their way up the eastern seaboard. In the event of an abort, these different abort modes would indicate about the position where Dragon would land,
started.
as well as indicate what series of maneuvers Dragon would indicate. But so far we're hearing good calls on the performance of the Falcon 9 on its ride uphill. 1 minute 53 seconds into flight.
we're about 30 seconds away from main engine cutoff, which will be followed quickly by stage separation and second engine start, which is the ignition of that MVAC engine on the second stage. Now about 10 seconds away from main engine cutoff.
Two Alpha.
Copy, 2
Stage
Alpha.
separation confirmed.
There you can see on your screen confirmation of stage separation as well as ignition of that second stage engine. Second stage is now carrying the Crew 6 astronauts to orbit. Beautiful view there on the left-hand side of your screen coming from the first stage, which, as you can see, is still gaining in altitude. It has not yet reached its apogee. A beautiful view of the Florida Space Coast there in the background.
Meanwhile, we're tracking good performance on that MVAC engine. On the screen to your right, we'll be hearing periodic performance calls about once every minute of the status of the trajectory of the second stage and the Crew 6 astronauts that are inside Crew Dragon Endeavour. We'll also be hearing call-outs, just like you heard just there, as we pass over the various ground stations along the ascent track.
Dragon, SpaceX, nominal trajectory.
There's that performance call-out.
Dragon acknowledges nominal trajectory.
As for the first stage there on the left-hand side of your screen, that first stage still gaining in altitude, although that gain is slowing down. It will be making its way back down to Earth, landing, attempting a landing on our drone ship. Just read the instructions. which is located off the Florida coast by a couple hundred miles.
The MVAC engine on stage 2 burns for 6 minutes after second stage ignition. We'll continue to see this engine burn until about 8.5 minutes into today's flight.
Dragon, SpaceX, nominal trajectory.
SpaceX Dragon nominal trajectory.
Again, these performance calls happen once a minute. Flight teams continuing to track the Falcon 9 and its ascent. Everything's looking good so far. You'll also continue to hear those check-ins of the ground stations as we pass them.
At this point in time, we're roughly 2 minutes away from the next major event, which will be the entry burn for the first stage. We will relight 3 engines, 3 M1D engines on that first stage to help slow the vehicle down as it re-enters the Earth's atmosphere.
We're approaching 200 kilometers in altitude. It's about 124 miles. Meanwhile, velocity.
Dragon, SpaceX, nominal trajectory.
Good trajectory calls. About to pass 12,000 kilometers per hour.
SpaceX Dragon nominal trajectory.
It's about 7,500 miles per hour.
Everything looking nominal for both first and second stages. Now coming up to T plus 6.5 minutes into flight.
Mostly what we're hearing now are the performance calls in the second stage. In about a minute is when we'll see a series of events in rapid succession. It's been a pretty good pace since second stage ignition. About less than a minute from now, we'll start to see
Dragon,
more action on the
SpaceX,
first stage.
Nominal trajectory.
SpaceX Dragon nominal trajectory.
As Gary mentioned, those callouts occurring about once every minute. Now we're about 20 seconds away from the first stage entry burn. That burn will last about 30 seconds and help slow the vehicle down as it re-enters back into the Earth's atmosphere.
Stage 1 entry burn startup.
And there you can see
Stage 2, FTS has safed.
on your screen that first stage entry burn has begun. That booster sees high drag, which actually scrubs roughly 70% of the velocity by the time that the landing burn begins. So about another 10 seconds of this entry burn. Again, 3 engines relit, the center and 2
Stage 1
radial
entry burn
engines.
shutdown.
And conclusion of that entry burn.
Meanwhile, good performance on the second stage. Since second stage ignition, we've been in a 2 alpha abort mode. The next abort modes will happen in rapid succession to Bravo, to Charlie, Delta,
Terminal
and Echo.
guidance.
Each indicating different series of maneuvers in the event of an abort scenario, but as you've been hearing through the periodic checks, we're seeing good trajectory, good performance on the Dragon and Falcon 9. SECO, second stage engine cutoff, would be coming at 8 minutes 48 seconds. We're coming up on that event.
SpaceX Dragon Shannon.
Stage
Shannon,
1
Copy,
transonic.
Shannon.
now off the coast of Shannon, Ireland. Standing by for SECO.
MVAC shutdown. Stage 1 landing burn.
And there we heard the call out indicating that landing burn.
Dragon, SpaceX, we have a nominal orbit insertion.
Great news there for
SpaceX Dragon copies nominal orbital insertion.
great news
Escape system disarmed.
for Dragon Endeavour.
Stage 1 landing leg deploy.
attempting to land on our drone ship. Just read the instructions.
Stage 1 landing is across signal.
And there you can see on your screen, and also indicated by the cheers behind me,
Acquisition signal, Finland.
successful landing of this booster. Its first trip to space, and therefore its first landing.
An eruption of applause here at SpaceX Mission Control. And of course, after.
Alright, we are 8 minutes away from Electron starting their broadcast. I'll give you updates on Falcon 9 and their during their stream. Just give y'all some heads up. So I'm gonna get the clock up. There we go. Electrons is just a little bit far away from SpaceX's. They're just 2 minutes apart. Electrons is the first one, and SpaceX's is the second. So yeah, excited, good thoughts about Falcon today. So, yep. Alright, we're currently 5 minutes away. I'll have to correct my account. So, yeah, I'm excited. They're going through with 2 launches. SpaceX is also propellant loading should start. How should have started on the first stage? Everything looking good. I mean, should have got to go. And it should be going through now. RP1 loading starting on the first stage and second stages, and launch clearing on the first stage. So, everything looking good so far. Falcon 9 is looking good. So now we should start shifting over to the Falcons. Electrons launch. I'll get the count up. Now we're just going to focus on that. Beginning of the storm. Electron is 55 seconds away from the storm. Now they're waiting for Electron. Okay, this is perfect time. Alright. Perfect. Rocket Lab. I love Rocket Lab. Electron. Curie. I'll keep an eye on Falcon 9. So, we're 32 minutes away from Falcon. We're going to only show the Electron stuff. When SpaceX starts their stream, we'll be about 1 minute away from, or a couple or 3 minutes away from Electron. So when that happens, I will put up Electrons in the corner so you can see Falcons and Electrons. Seeing if Electron's gonna delay. I hope it doesn't. Anyways, we're currently about 30 minutes away from the Falcon launch. And I can see a frost ring on the Falcon. I can see a frost ring. We're going through Falcon 9's launch today. And Electron is just depending on seeing if it delays. Currently 28 minutes and 25 seconds away from Electron's launch of the start of or beginning of the swarm. Everything looking good for this on-time launch at 28 minutes and 10 seconds. Okay, we just got confirmation of Falcon 9. Okay. Still waiting for Electron. Oh, here we go. Alright. Also, we can do this just in case. So now I can adjust it whenever. So now we're gonna have a good view. We're gonna have some view of the propeller on Falcon 9. Everything's looking good. Alright, they'll be starting their stream at exactly 20 minutes before launch. So you should be getting some commentary from them. We're awaiting the launch of Falcon 9.
Good morning from Rocket Lab Launch Complex 1, where our Electron rocket is vertical and ready on the pad as we begin the countdown to today's launch. Thanks for joining us for our 47th launch and our 5th mission of the year, scheduled for liftoff at 10:14 local time or 22:14 UTC. In America, that is 18:14 Eastern and 15:14 Pacific. Today we are launching 2 satellites for 2 customers on a mission we have called Beginning of the Swarm, or BTS for our K-pop fans. The primary payload onboard Electron is the NeonSat-1 for the Korea Advanced Institute of Science and Technology, otherwise called KAIST. And sharing the ride is the Advanced Composite Solar Sail System for NASA. My name is Muriel Baker, Communications Manager for Rocket Lab.
And I'm Kim Thompson, Structural Analyst for Neutron. I'm thrilled to be joining you for today's launch from LC1. We have a bit of an unusual flight path today for this mission. While rideshare missions on other rockets will deliver its entire payload to just one orbit, the 2 satellites on Electron are heading to 2 completely different orbits to each other that are also equal distance apart. NeonSat-1 is first up for payload deployment to 520 kilometres before NASA's payload heads all the way up to 1,000 kilometres in altitude. Our capability to meet the orbital requirements for 2 very different missions comes down to Electron's 3rd stage, or what we call the kick stage. Once Electron reaches space and separates the kick stage with the satellites attached to it, it's over to this rocket within a rocket to carry on the mission to those 2 orbits.
The first time we light Curie, it will be a circularization burn into a 520 by 520 kilometre orbit. Now, once that burn is complete and NeonSat-1 is deployed, the engine will light up again to increase its altitude to 1,000 kilometres. This highest position on an orbital path is called the apogee, and to be in a circular orbit, both the apogee and its lowest point, called the perigee, need to be the same distance above Earth. Though the kick stage's apogee will have risen, its perigee will still be set at 520 kilometres. So, the stage will need to light its engine again for a 3rd time to circularise at 1,000 kilometres ahead of deploying NASA's Advanced Composite Solar Sail System payload.
Once that's done, the ride's not over. The kick stage will ignite its Curie engine again for a 4th and final time to perform an orbit lowering manoeuvre and bring the kick stage closer to Earth. We do this to help speed up the stage's eventual deorbit, all in support of a more sustainable space environment and limiting space junk where we can. We've completed similar orbit raises, inclination changes, and orbit lowerings across other Electron missions before. Most recently, we went all the way back down to Earth with our successful spacecraft re-entry for Varda in February this year.
Now, some of you may have picked up on the fact that Electron is sporting the usual red and silver colouring of a mission marked for recovery. However, today is not a surprise recovery mission. We just regularly manufacture recovery-ready boosters in the Electron production line, and it just so happened that this booster lined up with this mission. Now on to the satellites on board Electron today. The primary payload on today's mission is NeonSat-1, an Earth observation satellite that is part of a joint program from South Korea. Led by the Korea Advanced Institute of Science and Technology, NeonSat's primary mission is focused on the Korean Peninsula and its maritime areas, and it will pair the satellite's data with artificial intelligence to monitor for natural disasters. Other organisations involved with NeonSat include the Satellite Technology Research Centre at KAIST, the SatRec Initiative, which manufactured NeonSat, and the Korea Aerospace Research Institute, which is managing the mission's ground segments and technology supervision for the NeonSat program. NeonSat is funded by the Korean government's Ministry of Science and ICT. And here's an animation of the NeonSat mission.
A very exciting time for the Ministry of Science and ICT in Korea.
And to all operators, LDM mission code, just a reminder, we're currently at T-minus 12 minutes and holding.
A quick update from Mission Control there. The launch director has called a hold at T-minus 12 minutes while the team works a ground system issue. Now, the good news is we have some buffer in this window, so we can comfortably sit here while the team works through it. We'll stand by, though, for an update from the operators.
T-minus 12 minutes at holding. So this is going to push back the time between launches. So good for me. And SpaceX just passed the minute mark for them. So SpaceX is moving forward. So, basically we're in the hold right now. They're now establishing a new TZR time. Now Falcon is going to be, I hope it does it before it launches after the landing of Falcon 9. We're halfway through stage 2 launch loading. I'm about to wrap up loading on the first stage, RP1 loading. SpaceX should be starting to stream very soon. I'll start to cut that off, and now we're focused on Falcon 9. They ran into a hold, and now they're assessing a new T0 time. So that's going to give Falcon more opportunity to launch. So we're 6 minutes and 30 seconds away from the launch. SpaceX should have started their stream. It's 5:10. Should be starting the stream any second now. If they start, wait. Oh no. Okay, I was about to say the SpaceX stream was not working. That would be I would be biting my nose. That'd be crazy. Anyways, we're going through it. Falcon 9 is B1078. It's launching for its 9th time. 1 year since Crew 6. Looks like the SpaceX is going to be launching before Electron. They're still assessing a new T0 time, which at this point, SpaceX would have. I would have more time to record the launch, and then move on to Electron. So I'm gonna wait out for like 2 minutes, and then we'll be fine. It'll be fine. Alright, here we go. Strong back retract should be starting.
Tanks are pressing for strong back retract.
Alright. Tanks are pressing for strong back retract.
Strong back retract has started.
Okay, oh, let's go! Strong back retracting has started. So you should start to see Falcon 9 strong back retracting. There you go. There's a good view of it. Strong back retracting is about to complete. Alright, you're 3 minutes away. First stage lock loading should be completing soon. And second stage lock loading should complete at 1 minute 45 seconds to around that point.
Stage 1 LOX load complete.
Lock loading on the first stage is completed. Amazing news for this on-time liftoff. Alright, stage 2 LOX loading should be completing shortly.
Stage 2 LOX load complete.
Alright, stage 2 LOX loading is completed, and the ground gas closeout should be starting in about 10 seconds from now. We should get the call for ground gas closeouts. It will start at 1 minute 30 seconds and end at 1 minute. When pressurizations start at 1 minute and final pre-launch checkouts at 1 minute.
Ground gas closeout.
Alright, we're about 1 minute away from launch. I will be quiet so y'all can enjoy the last 1 minute of the launch. Godspeed, Falcon 9.
Falcon 9 is in startup.
SpaceX launch director, go for launch. T-minus 30 seconds. Fifteen seconds. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition full power. And liftoff. Go Falcon, go Starlink.
M1D chamber pressures are nominal.
Falcon 9 is breaking through the sound barrier and is going to be passing through Max Q
Power
soon.
telemetry nominal.
And Falcon should be supersonic. Falcon should be going downrange. You can see it starting to tilt off the coast of Florida, the space launch coast, as it launches Starlink 6-53. Supersonic, passing through Max Q.
Max Q.
Max Q is 1 minute 12 seconds. We hit the 1 minute 12 seconds after launch. Good news, good always. As always, Falcon 9 is always doing good and great after launches. The launch pad should be getting ready for the next launch, Starlink 6-54, but this is not what we're talking about. We're talking about this launch today. It is going
MVAC engine chill has started.
significantly great. I love that rumble. It doesn't get better than a good 9 Merlin engine roar from the Space Coast. Anyways, we're coming up on 5 events that are going to be happening in quick succession. MECO, first stage engine cutoff, stage separation, Griffin's deploy, fairing separate, first stage separation, and MECO, main engine cutoff, first stage separation, SES-1, Griffin's deploy, and fairing separation. So, look for those events in 10 seconds.
MECO.
Stage separation confirmed.
MVAC startup.
Griffins have deployed on the first stage. We had successful stage separation, fairing separation. There it goes. You can see the Starlink satellites. And you can see a view of Earth too. Beautiful. And those will be covered by Bob, and you can see that Fahrenheit going away to the Atlantic Ocean. You can see Falcon, the first stage on right here. The first stage right there, though, that supported Crew 6, which was my first ever crew launch. This is my booster that I intently love. I love this booster. Yeah, I saw Crew 6 on it. It was my first ever. I stayed up to watch this, by the way. I fell asleep before I got to see it. I'm sorry, I had to say that. But I did technically see it. I fell asleep while staying up for the whole launch. Because there was a long period of waiting to the crew going in, doing checkouts, and then launch. But, yeah. Everything looking good on board Falcon 9. The second stage is burning. Great burning performance. And now that will mark the end for the Space Coast. I'll go back to checking on Electron and see how Electron's doing. But the second stage and first stages on Falcon 9 are going well. We're checking on the Electron launch. It's still looking like... Oh, they're going through. They're going through 10 minutes and 47 seconds. They're going through with the Electron launch. But we're going to focus on Falcon's launch because they did hold for long enough time for us to get everything ready for that Electron launch. But get ready for a good load of stuff. 2 launches today. I'm glad that happened. Anyways, we're gonna have multiple launches. I'm gonna get this set up. Alright. We should be coming up on the entry burn in a couple seconds. Or like a minute from... Okay, we should be coming up on it. Ooh, look at that crisp. That's crisp. You can see Falcon rotating the orient itself for re-entry. Re-entry should be in 10 seconds from now.
Stage 1 FCS is saved.
Stage 1 entry burn startup.
Okay, stage 1 entry burn has started. There you go. 1, 3, and 5 engines have ignited. E1, E2, E1 and E3 and E5. 3 Marylands propelling Falcon 9 for about 20-second entry burn.
Stage 1 entry burn shutdown.
Shut down the entry burn. Next thing we're coming up is the transonic confirmation and stage 1 FDS. I think they already said that, but saved on Falcon 1 stage 1. We're looking for a good lift or good landing. Landing burn will start 1 minute or in about 1 minute, about 30 seconds.
Stage 2 FTS
Landing
is saved.
should happen in 45 seconds. We should see a soft touchdown and just read the instructions for this evening's launch. I can see it's rotating. That is completely normal, unless it gets out of control. I don't usually see it waving like that. But that's Falcon 9, and that's between Falcon and the engineers at SpaceX.
Stage 1 transonic.
Okay, we got that call for transonic. Alright, transonic and now going to land. This looks so beautiful. I love being with y'all. This is just too beautiful. I love it. Look at how it soars in.
Stage
Look,
one
at
landing
landing burn start on the first stage. Grid fins are moving to orient itself to the drone ship. Just read the instructions. Landing legs should be deploying in 5 seconds.
Stage one landing leg deploy.
Landing legs are deployed. And touchdown. Falcon has touchdown for the
Stage
9th
one landing
time,
confirmed.
getting ready for its 10th. Falcon has landed. Recovery ops are going out. The octa web thing will be going out to stabilize Falcon 9 to the drone ship. Good news. Should get
MVAC
CK.
shutdown.
Got MVAC shut down. Alright, that'll end it for SpaceX.
Nominal orbit insertion.
Nominal. That's what we've been looking for. Nominal orbital insertion. Now with that, that'll wrap it for SpaceX. And now we're going to move to Electron really quickly because they're launching soon.
The propellant for the Curie engine within Electron's kick stage, which sits inside the rocket's nose cone, has already been loaded before the 2 fairing halves were closed to surround and protect the kick stage and its payloads through launch.
At the bottom of the rocket are 9 Rutherford engines, each of them 3D printed and electrically powered by batteries that drive their propellant pumps. Using electricity and batteries as a power source for those pumps cuts down on the weight and complexity that would have been added to the engines if the Rutherford had been designed to use a traditional gas turbine system. There is a 10th Rutherford engine that powers the second stage, and the main difference of this engine to the 9 on the first stage is the size of the nozzle, which is larger for the second stage version so that it can maximize performance when traveling through the vacuum of space. Otherwise, the 10th Rutherford uses the same batteries and 3D printed components as the first stage engines, including a 3D printed combustion chamber, injectors, pumps, and main propellant valves.
All right, as we look at the clock, we are 5 minutes and 10 seconds left in the countdown to liftoff. Launch operators are currently in control, but once they switch Electron to internal power at T-minus 2 minutes, the rocket's flight computer will autonomously run through the remaining steps. These include the final propellant load of liquid oxygen at around T-minus 1 minute 30 seconds. The call across the net for that will be that the LOX system is in recirculation, which means that LOX loading is complete on Electron. 30 seconds later, operators will confirm that the rocket's first and second stages are fully pressurized for launch. Then it's through to T-minus 10 seconds when our launch director will begin the countdown to liftoff. We're going to hand it over now to Mission Control to listen in on those calls.
Amazing news.
LD GC mission.
GCLD.
ECS disabled, pad auto sequences armed, pad ready for launch.
Copy, thank you.
I'm excited. We're doing a double launches today. I feel strong. I love, this is why I love rocketry so much. But we're going to stay here for the rest of the Electron. I'm going to be drained from this. But I'm going to stay here for the whole, if they stay on. I'm staying here. I care about y'all. Y'all can enjoy the coasting with the clean stuff, clean everything. Just get ready for some coasting. I will be long gone doing other stuff while I'm waiting
To
for
all
the
operators,
coasting.
LD mission code. From now on, there should be no red flags on your critical LCCs. Recon LD mission code.
LD recon.
Lock the auto sequence and confirm.
Auto sequence is locked.
Recon, please confirm all expected primary flight computer ASCIIs are green.
Confirmed.
We go for auto sequence start at T-minus 2 minutes. LDs go for launch.
Good news.
Vehicle is fully on internal power. AFTS is green and enabled for flight.
Locks load complete. System is in recirculation.
Anti-geysering is disabled.
Alright.
Stage
we,
1 and
we got
Stage 2
ground
tanks are
close
pressed
up.
for flight.
It definitely sounds like ground close up because it is. We're 48 seconds. I'll be quiet and y'all can enjoy the
High flow
launch of
engine approach
Electron.
enabled.
High-speed Electron Curie with the begin of the swarm.
We have T-minus and 20 seconds and counting. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift off.
Vehicles clear the flight. Safety launch pad.
Beginning pitch over.
Stage 1 propulsion is nominal.
The beginning of the swarm has begun its ride to space with that clean Electron liftoff from LC-1. Electron's trajectory will take it up and over the South Pacific Ocean as it heads away from the launch pad. Our first mission milestone will be max Q, otherwise known as maximum aerodynamic pressure, which is the moment where Electron experiences the most amount of stress as it climbs through the atmosphere. We're coming up on that moment now and expecting to hear the call for max Q shortly.
HV battery discharge nominal. Cleared max Q.
Maximum aerodynamic
That is Electron clear through max Q, with the rocket now at 15 kilometers in altitude and moving at over 2,200 kilometers an hour.
Next up, Electron will perform 3 actions that are only seconds apart. The first is called MECO, or main engine cutoff, and this is when the 9 engines that you can see glowing at the bottom of the rocket there shut off in preparation for the second step, and that move is called out as stage separation, when the first stage of Electron separates from its second and falls back to Earth. Now the third call out after separation should be second stage engine ignition, when the single vacuum optimized Rutherford engine fires up to maintain the mission's course to low Earth orbit. Now those 3 events are approaching fast, so we'll bring up the audio channels from mission control now.
"15 seconds to staging. Entered burnout detect mode.
MECO confirmed.
Stage
Stage
separation.
2 ignition confirmed.
Stage separation successful.
There we go, that was MECO, stage separation and engine start on the second stage. We have had a nice clean camera feed of those things happening, with the camera view now held on the second stage engine as it powers the mission on. Beginning of the swarm is now over 100 kilometers above Earth, past the Kármán line, and moving at more than 8,000 kilometers an hour. The next mission milestone is fairing jettison, or separation of the nose cone, and that's what protects Neonsat 1.
As you just saw, fairing jettison is now complete. We dropped those two fairing hubs early into the mission because they're not needed for satellite protection anymore now that we're through Earth's atmosphere. That dead weight is gone, and the mission is now a step closer to our first payload deployment at 520 kilometers.
All right, that's everything.
We have a couple of minutes to go until our next mission milestone, and that will be the battery hot swap on the second stage, currently expected to take place at the T plus 6 minutes 20 second mark. Right now, though, Electron's second stage is continuing along nicely to our target apogee of 520 kilometers for our first payload deployment for KAIST. This KAIST satellite is the first of up to 11 satellites planned by them, which will help to increase the program's observation rates of once every 2 to 3 days to 3 to 4 times daily.
All right, engine keeps burning.
It's T plus 4 minutes into the mission. Electron is still progressing smoothly through flight, and all remains healthy with KAIST and NASA's satellites. For NASA's payload, packed into this small satellite are composite booms that will unfurl once the payload is deployed, much like how a butterfly's wings emerge from its cocoon. This satellite will test how the pressure of sunlight pushing against its sails moves the satellite around. The closer to the sun, the better to test its solar sail technology, hence the reason for this mission requirement of a much higher orbit than the primary payload on Electron today.
All right, nice. We should be getting SECO soon. And SES-2 after the payload deploys, and we'll go higher and
Throttling down.
T plus 5 minutes 32 seconds, and our launch operator's next call out will be for the battery hot swap. Our rocket engine's pump is battery powered, and since it's been flying for a while now, its power source is starting to run low. So, to keep the engine and the mission going, Electron's engine power system swaps to a new battery pack for fresh and continuous energy supply to the electric pumps. The old set of batteries will be discarded, which you can sometimes see on the screen as it happens. So let's listen into mission control for that call.
Hot swap successful.
Oh, you can see that.
And as confirmed by mission control, battery hot swap has been completed for the second stage Rutherford engine. Propulsion remains nominal, and the mission is continuing on its journey to that first payload deployment with KAIST and Neonsat 1. Now, of course, once Neonsat 1 is deployed, that is only the first of 2 satellites to be released on this mission. Electron is also carrying NASA's Advanced Composite Solar Sail System satellite that will be deployed at twice the altitude we're heading to now, from 520 kilometers above Earth to 1,000. To do that, we'll first need to repeat the stage separation process we completed earlier in the mission, this time separating Electron's third stage, or kick stage, from the second stage that's currently firing hot on your screen. That second engine cutoff milestone, which you'll hear called out at SECO, is expected at around 9 minutes into the mission.
Nice.
T plus 7 minutes 47 seconds into the flight, and the mission is continuing nominally. If you take a glance over at the right of your screen, you'll see some telemetry from Electron's second stage, showing us that we have about 16% of propellant remaining. We're currently cruising along at a speed of over 21,000 kilometers an hour and approaching an altitude of almost 209.
We're coming up now to engine cutoff on the second stage, the last action this stage will perform for the mission. Much like with the first stage, Electron will power down the Rutherford engine on the second stage to allow the kick stage to separate cleanly. We time the engine shutdown for right as we reach that target perigee of 250 kilometers. Let's listen out for that engine shutdown and stage separation now.
Seeker confirmed.
Stage 3 separation confirmed.
A great call from Mission Control. The second stage engine has turned cold and the kick stage has separated, ready to begin the payload deployment process. Now, this mission, of course, is a little different to a regular Electron mission, so here's a reminder of how today's two deployments will work. Now that the kick stage has been released, it will now go into a phasing orbit of Earth. Because it's been set into an elliptical orbit from its perigee, it needs to head around to the other side of the planet to an apogee of 520 kilometers before it fires up the Curie engine to course correct into a circular orbit. Now, once it does, NeonSat-1 will be deployed to begin its mission for KAIST, and that will be Phase 1 for the kick stage.
Phase 2 will see it light up its engine again to perform an apogee raise to 1,000 kilometers, the target altitude for NASA's satellite. That apogee raise will bring the kick stage out of a circular orbit and back into another elliptical one. Here, the kick stage will do another half pass of Earth before the dots reconnect again at 1,000 kilometers, where it will light up its Curie engine for a third time to circularize its orbit before payload deployment.
Once that's done, it will be on to Phase 3. The Curie engine will ignite a fourth and final time to undo its circularization and bring it back into an elliptical orbit. This orbit lowering maneuver will help to speed up the kick stage's deorbit, doing our best to keep space as tidy as possible. For now, though, we will leave you with a graphic of Electron's coast phase ahead of that first Curie ignition, and we'll come back to this webcast to listen in for confirmation of that first payload deployment at around T plus 45 minutes. So we'll see you back here then.
Since we're in the puff count, I will be waiting for more updates. enjoy the good views and the music from Rocket Lab. I'll be back whenever we're ready for our payload separation again.
Curie catalyst heater scheduled to enable.
Curie engine on all but one mission, our suborbital HASTE mission out of Launch Complex 2 last year. Since hypersonic test launches like those don't have any orbital parameters, our suborbital missions don't need a Curie engine.
There are 3 variations of the Curie engine. We have a monopropellant version, a bipropellant version, and of
Curie
course our
engine
most
on all
complex
but one
version
mission,
yet, the
our
Hypercurie.
suborbital HASTE
There's payload separation. Payload.
Expected payload deployment.
Payload 1 is deployed.
Fantastic news there from Mission Control. Neon Sat-1 has been deployed. Congratulations to KAIST and its mission partners at the SATREC Initiative, CARI, and the Ministry of Science and ICT, and all the best with NeonSat's operations starting from right now.
The Kickstage's journey is far from over though. In the next 3 minutes, it will light up its engine again to raise our apogee and carry NASA's payload to its target 1,000 kilometre altitude. With about an hour until the Advanced Composite Solar Sail System's expected deployment, we'll be ending the broadcast here. But we'll be sure to share with you confirmation of the payload's deployment across our website and social media channels. So check us out there for updates on the Kickstage and deployment of NASA's payload.
Thank you so much for joining us for today's mission. This is Rocket Lab Mission Control signing off.
Alright. There's a launch pad. It's been cleared. I love it. Yep. Alright, that we will end the plus count. Or actually we'll keep going. I'd like to dearly thank you for watching this video. I feel kind of rough. It's been 2 hours and 15 minutes. And everything went well with the launch. And it's going to be getting ready for its third burn. Payload 2 deployment and payload and then burn 4. Anyways, that was a long video slash stream. That was probably the second longest video ever. I'm glad they didn't have to hold the launches for a while, but we're here, and Electron is finished with the mission, and now next up coming soon, the next launch I'm gonna see here of the Space Coast is gonna be Falcon 9 Block 5 Worldview Legion 1 and 2, which will be happening on Wednesday, April 24 at 2024 1:30 p.m. CDT. I won't sadly be there unless it delays. But it's just the luck of the time. But the next probable launch I would probably be able to stream is going to be Falcon 9 Galileo Foxy and that yeah. Galileo, there we go. I got it right here. This launch will be happening on the 27th. So yeah, let me get it. I'm gonna get rid of that. I'm gonna put that right there. And the T-minus clock for this is about about 73 hours for now. Well, I would say 70. Or yeah, I would say trying to get 96. Start that. Now, you see that? That's the count that we're going for. We're 4 days away from this launch. So there's 424 hours. So 48 plus 48 equals 96. Yep. Take your 2 8s, that's a 6. Take your 2 8s, that's the 8. The 2 8s go over the 10. So the 2 8s would be 16, and 4 plus 4 is 8. This is and it turns into 80. 16 plus 80 equals 96. Just doing the good math. But yeah, we're getting ready for the next launch from the Space Coast. Or I think it'll be happening from this. It'll probably be happening from the Space Coast. The Space Coast never sleeps. Never sleeps. The next launch I'd probably be able to do also is gonna be probably RS2. RS1 I mean, probably, hopefully if it does. And Starliner OFT1 with the astronauts. And also some other ones. But the main one we're going for is the group Starlink Group 8-2 on the same day, about 1.5 hours apart. The next one I'll be able to do is on Sunday at 4:50 p.m. And from there, we'll be getting more launches to do. And Galactus 7, we'll be able to do that one too. We're just getting ready for lots of things. Alright. Today was a great launch. I'm gonna recap you if anybody else is here. We saw Falcon 9 launch from LC-40, landed on just read instructions. The second stage should have ended its mission by now. Actually, let me get a confirmation on the mission of Starlink. They should have had payload separation by now. Hopefully. Alright. Deployment was 10 seconds ago. This happened 10 seconds ago. I was on point. The deployment of the Starlink satellites is successful. Alright. That'll mark the end of the mission. Everything is finished with Falcon 9. And just to finish what I was talking about, then we saw Electron launch. We saw Electron launch with those two payloads. Electron successfully went into orbit and should be separate. Actually, let me go check and get the confirmation of payload deployment for Electron's thing. Alright, 1 minute to go, one down, one to go. Alright. So they said one down, one to go. The AC is just now 45 minutes away, so it's 44 minutes from now. So we should go to Rocket Lab's page to check and see if there's separation.
Three,
Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for the amazing support, and we're gonna grind till the 200 subs. Thank you for watching. This is Nectar Space C, and closing out. See you guys later. Bye.
three, two, one. Liftoff of the Falcon 9.
Vehicles pitching downrange.
Stage 1 prop is nominal. Stage 1 entry startup.
Stage 1 is transonic.
Stage 1 landing weird startup. Stage 1 landing leg deployed.